Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Gray.
I'm Wolfman. How's it going?
This is our second installment of a new series that we're doing. This week is the Actor of the Week. Last week we covered Sigourney Weaver as the Actress of the Week, basically because it fell on Alien Day. And yeah, we were a little maybe behind on releasing it,
Yeah, a
but
little late, but the spirit of the situation was there.
it deserves a whole week. It shouldn't just be a day. You should be celebrating the week from that point on.
Great Alien Week.
Yeah. So, and then we talked about some upcoming people that we'd want to cover and stuff like that. Hey, he's back.
I know. Second video.
You know what?
Second.
But it's always
Second
this
hello.
segment.
I know. It's always this part.
It's not GrindHaus. It's not Serial Killers Academy. He's like, hey, you guys talking about actors? I love actors.
Love actors.
Hey, Jackson. Oh, he can't hear me.
No.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right.
He's a good doggo.
You just sit there and hang out, look handsome, okay?
So this week I picked an actor that I was familiar with when I was younger from movies that weren't necessarily good. But as I got older, I still liked him as an actor, and I realized he was in a lot of stuff where he was good. So this week we are covering John Leguizamo. And what
The pest
comes to
himself.
mind? See, but that's not
I
what
know.
you were.
No.
what
I just said the pest himself, but that's not what comes to mind. Yeah, I was.
What is in your opinion when you hear his name, the movie that?
Yeah. So Spawn, and then just him being, a good stand-up person, like stand-up comedian. He makes fun, just comedic, stand-up shows. Yeah, like his Netflix one that just came out recently. It's more of like a performance than a stand-up, but it's pretty good. It's the
I gotta check that out yet.
history of Latin people or something with John. I forget the exact title, but and then Landed a Dead. He had a pretty big role in that, I would say. And then To Wong Fu, Thanks for All the Memories or whatever, something that's called, with Patrick Swayze, John Leguizamo, Wesley Snipes.
Yep.
Like, I've never actually watched it. I know it's funny. I know it's good, but like, now that I'm older age, maybe I can enjoy it a little. Like this now that I'm a little more mature about things,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to see my action stars and whatever and drag, when I was younger,
Well, when I was younger, I felt the same. Like, I mean, it's probably funny because they're dressed up as women, but like, it's not the pest.
I feel like there's someone else in that too, but I could be wrong.
Well, I
like
know
there's a
Wesley
fourth one.
Snipes.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a fourth one and it's bothering me. I don't know
Possibly.
why.
Well, we'll get to it
Yeah,
when
we're
we
gonna
go
get
through
to
those
it.
movies.
Yeah.
My first exposure, I wanted to say The Pest, but actually I saw the Super Mario Brothers movie before I saw The
Oh
Pest.
God, I can't believe you named that. Yeah, for some reason I own that lovely trash.
But here's the thing. I didn't know him. He was Luigi. I didn't know John Leguizamo. He was like the co-star. He wasn't Mario,
Yeah.
so he wasn't, And then I saw The Pest, and I believe I was maybe 10 or 11 when that movie came out. And you could imagine how funny that movie is for a 10 or 11-year-old boy. But now,
I can't imagine because I didn't like it.
but
Like I
you
thought
weren't.
it was shit. I mean, yeah, I was like 18 or so at that time. Like,
Yeah,
I'm like,
so
I'm
you
like
probably
7 years older than you or so. I think we talked about. Yeah, so I'm just like,
Yeah,
oh, this is
so
a
when
piece
you
of shit.
saw it,
Yeah.
and I feel like that
We should put
movie.
this on a shirt. Wolfman says it's a piece of shit because I call a lot of things a piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean, but you're critical about movies, but they do tend to be shitty. It's not like you call decent movies pieces of
I
shit.
know, but it's just like it's turning into my tag phrase. Yeah, this thing's a piece of shit.
What a piece of shit! And just like a picture of Wolfman, like like
Was this movie a
But-
piece of shit?
it's like they wanted to write a script, and they're like, hey, how many impressions can you do, like different ethnicities? He's like, oh, I can do Japan or China, Jewish, and they're like, all right, you know what? We're just gonna give you all these different scenes where you get to be like borderline racist, you know. But I will watch that movie today, and I will still laugh at the parts, even though they're stupid.
I'm sure there's some funny moments in it, but like my overall opinion of it was like, yeah, this is just a piece of shit. Yeah.
The stupid parts are stupid, but there is good comedy writing, like jokes and stuff. So you should go back and watch it. But before we get into his movies, let's just give the quick rundown from like IMDb or Wikipedia. John Alberto Leguizamo, Colombian Spanish, born July 22nd, 1964, is an American actor, stand-up comedian, producer, playwright, and screenwriter. He rose to fame with a co-starring role in the action comedy Super Mario Brothers as Luigi and a supporting role in the crime drama Carlito's Way.
Sorry, Rose the Fame.
Yeah, Rose, yeah.
That's great.
Other roles include Sid the Sloth from Ice Age, the narrator from The Brothers Garcia, and other notable films: Tu Wong Fu,
Well,
Thanks for
we'll go
Everything,
through all
Julie
this stuff. We
Newmar.
don't have to read through his.
Yeah, I'm just it's
Yeah.
just in the basic intro. Like these are what I guess most people think of when they think of him for some reason. But Leguizamo was born in Bogota, Colombia. His parents migrated over here. His actual grandfather was Italian and Puerto Rican. So, and his grandmother was Lebanese. So even though he was born in Bogota, Colombia, he's not 100% Spanish. He has, pretty mixed heritage behind him. They moved to New York when he was just a kid. And that's kind of why you don't really hear, I guess, an accent when he talks. Like he sounds just like a normal American accent.
He's got an accent, but it's not like super thick and pronounced. It's there in words. You know what I mean? It's not like a every word accent. You know what I mean?
I would say he has more of a New York Puerto Rican accent than he does an actual Puerto Rican accent.
He still has a slight accent, but it's mostly on words that he says. It's not like a constant thing,
Yeah, depending on what he says,
Yeah.
you probably wouldn't be able to pick it out normally. Yeah, if you guys are interested in like a full bio, obviously check out the Wikipedia page. But basically the first thing that he was in was a video short for Madonna, Borderline. Are you familiar with that?
No, I can't say I am.
Yeah, I think Madonna's a fucking whore. So I'm not a fan of hers. I don't know what she's
she
done.
Was hot back in the day.
Yeah, no, she was hot. I just think she's a piece of shit.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't think she's a piece of shit, but she's definitely. That's just going down a whole rabbit hole I want to get into.
yeah, she's done some things that I'm not a fan of.
Yeah,
That's it. And,
that's sure a lot of people have. All right, so
sure.
next thing.
I mean, his first real noticeable role was Die Hard 2.
Well, Casualties of War was kind of like a decent movie.
Okay.
That was Michael J. Fox, Sean Penn, John C. Reilly, like when he was really young. John Leguizamo,
yeah.
Ving Rhames. I mean, there was a really good cast. It's a really good movie. It's got 7.1 on IMDb, so that means it's like a 10. You know what I mean?
IMDb is really fucking tough on these movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's got a
Casualties of War.
pretty good cast. I would suggest if you like war movies, and it's directed by Brian De Palma.
Oh, Scarface and all that. Yeah.
It's like a serious, like real movie. It's 89. It's a Vietnam War era movie. It's good. And then Die Hard 2. I mean, he did Revenge. I don't 100% remember what that is, unless I'd have to.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Look through it here. Oh, it's a Kevin Costner movie. Madeline Stowe.
Okay.
Yeah, I vaguely remember this now, and I remember it being good though. It's long. It's a little over 2 hours. It's like a drama, action, crime.
Right.
I remember it being good though.
Like a lot of the movies he did, he had very small roles.
Yeah.
Which, you know, when you're getting started, obviously you take what you can, even if you're not name credited. You could be like Boy in the Corner 1 or this or
Well,
that.
and Out for Justice, he was Boy and Alley. Actually, now that you say that.
Yeah, yeah.
In
So I mean,
1991, so it's like kind of inadvertently you did name
yeah,
you named one
that's
of his
so weird.
roles, like. So yeah, I mean, you know, he was a little side actor in Die Hard 2, great Christmas movie.
Yes,
Both of them. But no, he was
both.
like he was a henchman, but he was like one of the more main henchmen in there. He actually had some lines. It wasn't just like a guy, you know. But then like
Yeah, he wasn't like a background character.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure he had some other movies here that maybe had a little more, but the first real movie that I can remember him having like a prominent character is actually the Super Mario Brothers movie because he was
Yeah.
Luigi Mario.
Yep. Now, I want to say, if I'm correct, he got that role because the director or whatever producer actually saw his role in Casualties of War and Die Hard 2, which it's weird because those movies are nothing alike. Like Die Hard 2 and Casualties of War are nothing like Super Mario Brothers. So I don't know where they would see Luigi in this.
Well, I think he probably got it because he's a New York guy. You know, had that
Right.
Italian New York stereotype. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure if we dig into Mario Brothers, which we are, I know we're going to cover it. We have to.
There's a lot of video game
really,
movies.
I really do like that movie. If it just had a different title, I think people would forgive it more, and it's actually like a pretty cool idea of a movie.
It is, but the problem is it wouldn't just be the title because they did mix in a lot of Mario lore just to kind of keep fans happy. It's like, oh, well, that's
I mean,
a Goomba. No, it's
if you lose like certain
the
things,
references.
like a couple of references. I mean, you can still keep it like an alternate dimension through a pipe or whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
I guess they didn't go through a pipe. They went through like
a portal,
a portal,
like a
but
wall.
We're getting too much
Yeah,
into the
yeah.
movie. But yeah, like yeah, it went through like that underground, like in that dig site or whatever. But yeah, I mean, you can lose stuff in there and still have similarities, but change the name and just be a sci-fi movie, and it would be.
It would have been
better.
great.
Yeah, the idea.
It would have been
Dennis
great.
Hopper with his awesome overact. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it could be good.
And
then,
Bob Hoskins, who's like criminally
he's awesome.
underrated.
Yeah, he's great.
Fucking who who reamed Roger?
Yeah,
who framed?
Who reamed him? Jeez. God damn it, Rob. Fucking great. God damn it.
You know, I bet you there's actually a pointer out there of who reamed.
That's
You know
probably
what?
who reamed Jessica Rabbit, not Roger. I mean, and then again, who knows? Could be Roger.
Wait a second. Yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves. So after the major flop, which was Super Mario Brothers, he did appear in this Night Owl, but the next real decent thing he was in was Carlito's Way.
Well, he plays like a serial killer in Night Owl.
Okay.
Well, maybe I think he's the lead role, and it's a vampire in East Village picks up women while having sex and then kills them by drinking their blood. So, I mean, he's a vampire, but he's kind of a serial killer at the same time.
Yeah, they're the same.
Yeah, I feel like it's the way they make it sound. It's probably like a serial killer movie, and they just made him a vampire to like probably get less of a rating.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
You know, because I mean, it's
But
in
then he
East
jumped-
Village. Yeah, I don't know.
He did Carlito's Way, which if you have not seen, Sean Penn, Al Pacino, I mean, excellent movie.
And it's got an infamous character too. He's Benny Blanco.
From the Bronx.
Yeah.
That's the whole. Yeah, I'm Benny Blanco from the Bronx. Yeah, I don't give a fuck who you are or where you're from.
Yeah.
I love that movie. And Sean Penn in that movie is such a weaselly little fucking prick. If you haven't seen it, go.
Great movie.
And then, like you mentioned, Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. The fucking kind of name is that?
That's the point. It's just like a ridiculous name, and it's awesome. But I'm
don't
pretty sure
even-
it's a book, so whoever wrote it had it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then he had two
Well,
back-to-back pretty decent-sized movies.
Him and a bunch of people are in executive decision, and spoiler alert, not that anyone's gonna fucking care, but I just like saying it anyway, pretty much die in the first fucking 5 minutes.
Oh, he dies in the first few minutes of
Yeah,
it.
him and a bunch of other named people in Executive Decision. They all die. Like there's a bunch of names, and they're
Like
doing
bigger.
yeah, and they're gonna like go in and yeah, because it's Kurt Russell, Steven Seagal, Halle Berry, John Leguizamo. There's some other like there's just guys you'll see. I don't know their names off the top of my head. You'll see them in there, and you're like, oh
Well,
okay,
that was a
like
waste.
yeah, and then just like it's the way they open the movie up. They're like trying to get in this plane. They're special forces guys. Like shit goes wrong. Like you know what I mean? Like and they fucking die, and then Steven Seagal obviously lives because it's a Steven Seagal movie.
Of course, it's hard to kill Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
But then after Executive Decision, you had basically three of four movies, but two movies in a row that were big at the time, even though one of them I fucking hate. But first he was in The Fan as Manny, and that has Robert De Niro and Wesley Snipes in it. And if you haven't seen The Fan, also go check that out.
I've actually never seen it.
You've not? Okay. It's a thriller.
I know what it is. I know exactly what it is. I just never got around to seeing it. Just
You
so
have to,
many,
dude.
so many things just got. Yeah, it's like 2 hours long, and it was just yeah, I know what it is. Stalker, yada yada yada. Like I know.
Uber fan and stuff.
Yeah. The base it has to do with baseball. That's another thing. It's baseball. Even though I do like baseball movies, I'm not a huge baseball fan at all.
Yeah.
If it's not
But
Major League,
they
I
keep
don't
it to
really
a
care.
minimum.
Yeah, I know. That kept me away.
And then
Heaping pile of dumpster trash piece of shit movie called Romeo and Juliet
with Leonardo DiCaprio,
yeah, and
if you
Claire
guys
Danes
remember.
from 1996. Jesus Christ, that was terrible.
So let's modernize this entire movie, but we'll keep the dialogue exactly the same as it was written. What?
Yeah, and it's still a fucking piece of trash.
You
No matter what. All right, so moving on. I don't want to talk about that movie.
After that he did a spot in a TV show. Whatever. Then he was in The Pest. The Pest flopped.
Dario Vargas.
It's Pestario Vargas, Pestario, Pest for short. Pff, now we're even.
Motherfucking
I can quote
goddamn son of a bitch.
I
Sorry,
can quote
I
that
didn't hear
movie.
what you said and it got cut out, so I don't even know what you said.
It's okay. You didn't. It was from the movie.
All right.
If you haven't seen The Pest, I thought it was hilarious when I was 10. And I'll go back and watch it now, and I'll probably get a few chuckles out of it, but definitely not, a great movie.
Yeah, and then we have the another classic of 1997 from him, which doesn't stand up to this day to a certain extent. I think it's a great movie. I had a lot of fun with it. Has its problems, and when you watch like documentaries about the movie and listen to some of the actors talk about it, you'll understand why. But we had the Spawn movie.
Yeah.
And it had everything going for it, but lots of rewrites and other bullshit that happened, and
There was some
trying to do
terrible
trying to do
CGI.
too much with the CG too early in movie making.
Yep.
I mean, it was half groundbreaking at the time, but they just
Certain parts.
they rushed it, is what it turned out. They
Yep.
didn't take the time to make it look a little better compared to the regular film, which they could have. But it just was going to cost too much money. They were over budgets like crazy on this movie. A lot of stuff got cut, rewrites on the spot. Yeah,
It
Just
could
terrible.
have been. It could have been great. And this would have been before the boom of the actual
Yeah.
comic book heroes and stuff.
Well,
Like,
you got-
this would have been it.
Well, you got to figure the only things really that happened and they were kind of failures were the Punisher movie, even though I love it. Back in the day with Dolph Lundgren, most people don't even know about it. And
Yeah.
then you had like some failed Spider-Man movie and some other shit. They had a Nick Fury movie with David Hasselhoff playing Nick Fury. Like
Batman was like the only
Batman
one.
was the only one that did good, yeah. But yeah, that's a little older, but we're talking like newer. And then you had Blade. But
Blade. Blade was just like on the cusp of
Yeah.
breaking in. That would have been great.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying like Blade was a
In
really
this
good,
era,
Blade was a really good movie and was in this era. I know it came out
a little after,
around the
but
same time. Yeah, I'm just saying around the same time.
like, do you remember the Shaquille O'Neal movie Steel?
Yes.
That is based off the comic book, obviously through Superman. That thing is a flaming
Well,
pile of horse
I
shit.
thought it was just based off his own comic book because he had his game Shaq Fu and some other stuff. And so they made a comic book for him, and then it somehow got a movie. Like,
No.
that's what I thought it was based off of.
Steel was an actual character in the Superman universe because
Was
there
it?
was Superboy, Supergirl, and then there was the Steel. But
Yeah,
the
see,
comic.
I thought it was his own. I thought it was his own thing. Yeah, I didn't know that.
No, that was an actual comic property, and they fucking shit the bed on it.
Yeah.
Because it's awful.
All right. So moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did some little things here and there. Some were better than others. Some are Sam, Doctor Doolittle, some voices.
Mm-hmm. I jumped to 2001.
Yeah,
where
we did Moulin Rouge, right?
Yeah, and actually an underrated comedy with Martin Lawrence and Danny DeVito called "What's the Worst That Can Happen."
I vaguely remember that.
It was good. Bernie Mac's in it too. John Leguizamo. It's a good little comedy. Obviously, flew under the radar. Nothing spectacular, but if you haven't seen it, check it out. Empire. I'm not a fan, but I know there's a lot of people out there who love it, so it's whatever. And then obviously one of his bigger roles, the one that has made him millions of dollars over the years.
Don't forget Ice Age. Collateral Damage before that.
Oh yeah, Collateral Damage. Yeah,
Schwarzenegger movie. Which
yeah,
wasn't
that's
that
right.
good. It's a underrated movie. He doesn't have a major role in it, but
But
it's still a
you'd
good
remember
movie.
he's in it.
Yeah. You always remember he's in it. But yeah, the Ice Age movies, he just raked in the dough with those, man.
He was one of the main, like you had the Wooly Mammoth, the Tiger, and you had the Sloth, Sid, and that's his voice. And every
He's one of the
movie that
best
has come
characters
out,
in there, though, you got to admit,
he is
one of the best characters in there. It's perfect for him. It fits him.
I think Dennis Leary's okay. Ray Romano's not bad, but
It
if
fits,
I'm gonna
though.
watch,
It fits.
Yeah.
The one thing they
Oh,
did,
it does.
the one thing they did, the characters all fit in that. So,
but obviously John Leguizamo is my favorite of all. He brightens up my day with that character for sure.
so we had Spun, was a cult classic.
Yeah. He did a couple video game voices.
Yeah.
Rayman 3, I never knew that.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that. I never played it, so. He did Assault on Precinct 13. It's a remake of an original, and that's an actually excellent flick. Both of them are, actually.
Both of them. Yeah.
Both of them were really good. This one had, I'm going to look at it. I always confuse the two fucking people. Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
I was going to say Josh Hartnett, but I confuse Ethan Hawke and Josh Hartnett a lot. Even though I don't think they look alike, it's just that time of...
You know who I
they were
mix Ethan Hawke with?
A lot.
I mix up Ethan Hawke a lot with Edward Norton from the time period in the movies that they were in.
I don't see it, but I'll give you.
Not from visual.
No.
Yeah.
I know, but for some reason, Edward Norton just stands out so much to me that I can't fathom it for some reason.
Yeah.
Even though I don't think
movies.
Ethan and Josh Hartnett look anything alike, but for some reason I just confuse their names for some reason. But
And
oh, so good.
No, I'm saying like maybe the types of movies they were in at certain times.
No, that's what it is. It's the types of movies they usually do. You know what I mean? Like they do a few manlier movies, and then they get like kind of the chick flicks and other. You know what I mean? So like
or your melodrama.
Super drama movies. Lawrence Fishburne's in this. Gabriel O'Brien, John Leguizamo, Brian Dennehy, Ja Rule. I mean, it's just yeah. I mean, he's a name. You know what I mean? Like you said,
I know it is, but it instantly dates the movie.
Yeah. Well, it's
now
2005.
I saw this movie and then found out there was an original. I do like the original more.
Original is John Carpenter.
Yeah, Yep, and I appreciate this one for showing me the original. So, you know,
and it's actually one of the few cases that a remake is still good. It's not. I
yeah,
don't think it's necessarily better than the original. I think they're both kind of. That's something we'll get into at another time because Assault on Precinct 13, I think, definitely
would
qualifies as a
be
grindhouse
a
movie.
grindhouse film. Absolutely,
Even though this was
100%.
more of a mainstream movie, this one, but the
Well,
original was a grindhouse.
well, so was the Hills Have Eyes remake, and we
Yeah,
covered it
yeah,
with the
no,
original.
I know.
So,
Yeah, but I mean, Hills Have Eyes
yeah,
is still a horror movie, but it wasn't
yeah,
like a giant, huge. You know, it's not like a Michael Bay horror remake. You know what I mean? What it's
right,
still,
yeah. It wasn't like the Texas
yeah,
Chainsaw ones or nothing
yeah,
like. Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, I agree
it
with you.
seemed. It seems like 2005 was actually a really good year for
Yeah,
him
then he
because
did
he
Land of the
also,
Dead.
well, he did The Honeymooners, which was
Oh
the
yeah,
remake. Nah,
yeah.
whatever.
I wouldn't. Yeah, that kind of failed. That fizzled. I know. I was gonna
Yeah.
skip over that.
Oh, the only reason I said it though is because it did make some money in the box office, so he did okay. But then yeah, Land of the Dead, Cholo de Mora. Land of the Dead is criminally underrated in the
Great.
saga of the Dead series, and I will argue anyone who says that it doesn't belong with the original three, because a lot of people say that there was such a big gap between Night of the Living Dead, Dawn, and Day, and then Land, that they don't even consider it in the. I'm like, dude, it's
But it's the
literally
perfect
where
progression. Yeah, it's right where
it
it left
is.
off.
It
Yeah,
is.
society's picked back up again, but the zombies are slowly getting smarter because in Day of the Dead they were all pretty much talking for
Talking, using
sort of,
weapons.
yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
They were using weapons, like he was like trying to talk, like yeah, it's critically underrated.
A lot of people shit on it, and I don't think it's fair. Give it another chance. If you haven't seen it in a while, go back and watch it. Obviously, Ice Age 2 came out, and we're not even going to mention all the Ice Age because
No,
he's
we
been in
mentioned
all of
that
them.
already. Yeah, they're just
Yeah.
good.
He's been in a lot of small stuff.
Yeah, he kind of went like kind of underground at this point in time again, and just doing like indie stuff. The
Yep.
movie The Babysitters was pretty good. It's like a drama about like underage girls starting like an escort service and stuff. But it was like a good movie.
Okay.
Some girl I dated made me watch it and ended up actually liking it. So
Okay. I'll check it
yeah,
out.
it's cool.
2008.
Yeah.
The Happening.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I know.
Just want to forget that movie exists.
Luckily, in 2008, he was also in Righteous Kill.
That was a great movie.
So, yeah, awesome movie. Have it in my
Great
collection.
movie. So do I. That's another one of those infamous Robert De Niro, Al Pacino. I mean, there's other people.
It wasn't quite Heat.
No. But I'm saying it's another pairing by them. They work great together, considering I hear they hate each other in real life. Sort of. Sort of. I mean, it's like a kind of love-hate relationship they have for each other.
I think they respect each other, but their personalities don't clash.
They work well together, but they're not going to be hanging out and palling around and being best friends. You know
Yeah,
what
I
mean?
think like Joe Pesci kind of like ties them together so they don't like fucking talk shit on each other all the time.
So like 50 Cent was in it, Donnie Wahlberg, Brian Dennehy. Again, Brian Dennehy's an underrated actor. He just died recently too.
Yep.
He has a lot
Brian
of good
Dennehy,
stuff.
very underrated.
Oleg Tektarov, one of his movies that he starred in. He was a UFC fighter from like UFC like 6. Whatever.
Okay.
They called him the Russian Bear. He actually did get a couple movies in. He tried to break into like movies and stuff, but I always thought the guy was awesome. He was He was like a sambo fighter back when jiu-jitsu kind of ruled, but he could strike too because sambo and Russian they're usually known for
Sambo's the shit,
too.
dude. Yeah, Fedor Emelianenko. That's the name that you got to know about Sambo. I saw this thing for '09. Maybe you could fill me in. Rage. Are you familiar with that?
Let me look. There's so many movies.
I know. I'm not too familiar.
I know nothing about it.
Okay.
He's kind of down on the list of names too when you look at it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think it's just because it's a very artsy film. Looks like it's got Steve Buscemi in it. A bunch of other names I don't know. Eddie Izzard's in there.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, if you want to read the description, I mean, maybe someone would be interested in it. It's a young blogger at a New York fashion house shoots behind the scenes interviews on his cell phone. I'm sure there's all
Okay.
sorts of drama behind that, but I'm sure it's a super artsy movie.
Yeah, and I like Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
I think he's good. So
I mean, I'm sure a
maybe
lot
I'll
of
check
people
that
know
out.
these names. I wouldn't know
Right.
half of them. I mean, I got well, like later down the list, there's a couple I know, like Eddie Izzard, Jude Law, John Leguizamo's listed with them, and then there's a bunch of other people. Then Steve Buscemi's kind of mixed in the middle of them, and then like I said, I don't know these other people here.
Yeah, some randos. It looked like he kept to pretty small roles here for a little bit after another Ice Age game or movie
Yeah.
came out.
Well, he was in Gamer. He had a small role in that. That
Mhm.
was an excellent movie with
Gerard Butler, yeah.
Gerard Butler. One of
Um,
Michael C. Hall's shittier movies, even though he was kind of cool. But I wish someone else played the role in there. I know some people
Yeah.
loved him in that role.
Go up to 2011, The Lincoln Lawyer. I've never seen it, but I know it was a pretty big success.
Yeah, a million more Ice Age stuff.
Yeah.
Skipping
And
through
he was
here.
in an episode of American Dad. I think that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that show. I know it got better as time, but that first like 2 seasons, man, really threw me off.
Tough. Yeah.
Weren't a fan. I know it got better. I do like some
And-
of the characters that I've seen
Right.
like clips of. But like I said, they were all later stuff. I just never got into watching it.
Sure, yeah, I don't blame you.
I should get into it. He was in Kick-Ass 2. I don't know how big a role because I still never actually seen it.
So listen, I actually was going to wait to get up to Kick-Ass 2 because he plays the role of like a bodyguard to the the crime boss.
Yeah.
His son turns into the
Yeah,
whatever.
I know that much. Yeah.
Right. Well, he is the family like head security bodyguard after the dad dies.
Okay.
So he pretty much is at the beck and whim of McLovin's character. Anything McLovin needs, this guy's going out and finding. So he has a pretty sizable role in that movie. And I like the Kick-Ass series. I do.
I like the first one. I just never got around to seeing the second. It's not anywhere. It's almost like they hid the movie.
Yeah.
It's not on any of the streaming
You'd have to go
services
buy
over the
it.
years. You have to go buy it, and for what I know, it's not really worth buying. It's worth watching, but unless you're a hardcore collector of certain things, you're not going to go buy this movie.
If you really like the first movie, you'll like the second movie, but you won't think it's as good as the first. If you thought the first was okay, don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Chef, the movie Chef, if you haven't seen, it's all about cooking. It's incredible. Go give it a watch. And then John Wick.
Enough said. I mean, if you don't know what we're saying after we say John Wick, you might have the wrong channel.
It's literally bringing action movies back to where they need to fucking be.
Yeah.
Because for a good 15 years, action movies were either Fast and the Furious or just awful.
Yeah, I can pretty much. Yeah, there's a gem in the rough here and there, diamond in the rough, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
here
you're
and
right.
there. But overall, they're pretty bad.
Yeah. From like 2000 to like 2012, 13, like that era for action, it was pretty much dead.
Yeah, and they tried. I mean, they tried with stuff. I mean, Expendables came out, fucking Rambo started up again and stuff like, and they're all good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're all good, but they're not what they should have been. They're past
But
their time.
They're living off of their previous success.
Yeah. No, I'm saying they're good, but they're not what they would have been if they were made, 20 years
20
earlier, like in their heyday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, it was a nice. Even though Keanu's a little old, he's not as old as them, but he's a little older. He does an amazing job, and I always thought he was a good actor in a lot of different things, but he just kind of got typecast and kind of acts a certain way.
Yeah.
It's just this role. John Wick was supposed to be a nothing movie.
Yeah.
They just made it, and they expected to make like a marginal return on it and whatnot, and because of how well the fight scenes and the action actually turned out. And Keanu's performance, like, it just fucking blew up. And now, obviously, we have 3 of them, so.
Yep. I'm actually
crazy.
surprised Constantine didn't do that for him because that is a really good movie. and he was good in that movie.
He is, but it was wrong time. You know what I mean? That was a hard time for those movies. I mean, since like even in the '90s up until then, it was hard for those comic book movies to cross over.
Yeah.
Like they still weren't hitting yet. And then also with Constantine, you had people. I mean, we're getting off topic,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
but people the ones that really watched it were so into the comics, and they didn't like how they portrayed it compared to the comics. There was a lot of hate.
So like, who were you gonna make happy?
Yeah,
Kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah. It was like it was too obscure for the normies, except for me because I didn't really know anything about the comics, which is probably why
Right.
I love the movie.
Yeah.
You know, and
Well, when we cover Keanu,
Yeah.
obviously we'll go a little bit more in depth about that. Yeah, he's been in a bunch of little stuff. Obviously Ice Age stuff keeps coming out. John Wick Chapter 2, 2017. You know,
yeah. I mean,
definitely,
there's a ton of stuff here. I mean, you can look into like you go through it. I'm pretty sure. So there's a few like the Experimenter and then Infiltrator and these other movies were good.
yeah. He
I
also
remember
got
hearing
into
the
a lot
names.
of he got into a lot of the TV miniseries because TV's been picking up its game in the last few years. So he was on Bloodline. He did an appearance on BoJack Horseman. He was on Waco.
BoJack's great.
I love BoJack. I really
BoJack's
do.
great.
Um,
He's great in Waco. I saw part of that. He
okay.
plays the FBI agent that tries to go undercover and infiltrate David Koresh's compound, and then
Okay.
he's the guy that warned the FBI that they knew everyone that they were coming, but he didn't see them arm up yet, and he told them like call it off, and
Yeah.
they didn't, and it caused all that shitstorm. Yeah, I saw most of that. It's a TV miniseries. I think it's on HBO.
Is it on it?
I
Okay.
think it's on HBO.
Because I actually
it's good. It's good. From what I saw, it was really good.
I want to search that out because
Yeah.
if you guys obviously didn't know, like I'm a huge fan of cults and serial killers. I keep up with that.
Yeah, it's either HBO or Netflix. I don't remember. Like
But
it's
or
on it's on
Showtime or something.
No, well, it's not show. It's either HBO or Netflix, one or the other. But
Okay.
it's good. It's really good. Whoever made that, it's good. It's something we should probably maybe watch and go over. Maybe
Okay.
not
Well,
not that
and
he's a serial
basically,
killer, but like because of what happened, maybe we can do it as a serial killer academy something.
well, that's what the Serial
the
Killer
cult,
Academy
yeah.
wasn't just serial killer, like for cults
yeah.
and things like that. But basically, from 1990 up till today, this man has been acting. He's been in something every year. Sometimes he's been in like 5 or 6 things a year.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
And
got
I think
like
that's
5
earlier.
more things coming out soon. So
Yeah, that's why I said like earlier. I feel like I said he's like an actor's actor. This is where he gets that reputation. No role, he's not like, oh well, that role's not big enough. I'm not gonna do it. If he feels a connection, he does it.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, he can do anything. He's got a wide variety of things he can do. He's severely talented. I was gonna say, but I guess it doesn't work the way I meant it, right? But
He
superiorly
underrated?
talented, underrated. Yeah, like
Yeah.
he's better. He's better than most people give him, especially because he was kind of like a goofball when he was younger, a little crazy. He's like kind of
Yeah.
mellowed out. He's married. He's got kids, and he's like really grown into being a phenomenal actor. I think he's great.
And that was this week's episode of Actor of the Week. And make sure you guys tune in for our next episode. It's not an actress, it's not an actor.
Nope. It's we're covering an FX studio, and they're famous for a lot of stuff that you probably don't know about. They're not a name that gets thrown around, but they do a lot of big stuff. But is the Kyoto Brothers, and
I
they're
guarantee
famous for
you
Killer
guys
Clowns.
have seen.
Yeah, they're famous for making and directing and writing Killer Clowns from Outer Space, but they're still active to this day in Hollywood. Even though
And
they're getting up
if
there
you
in
look at the
age.
list,
Yeah.
I guarantee you've seen at least one thing they've been attached to.
They're good, and we're going to cover them next time. And till then, check out our Patreon. Help us, help support us if you can. If you can't, no big deal. Just like us, share our stuff on Facebook, share our stuff on YouTube, do all the fun things, comment. There's not
Interact
much.
with us, yeah.
Interact. Just have some fun. Leave us love, leave us hate, leave us ideas to do stuff. We don't care. Just as long as you're talking to us, that's all that matters.
Just be our friend.
Let's get our conversation started. All right. You good?
I am Gray.
I'm Wolfman.
Bye.
GrindHaus out.